From time to time I get letters, messages, text, whatever they call it, comments, and they refer to the kind of lifestyle that we have. We don't live in paradise. We do live in a big house. Now, there's a very good reason for why we live in a big house. We like it. And what I'm constantly reminded of when I look at comments and messages, I'm reminded that people want to see you in their comfort zone. So when we post pictures of our house, which is bigger than most, it was never intended to be that way. It was like a comedy of errors that it ended up being much bigger than we thought. And it's funny because a friend of ours, Alvin, who unfortunately has passed on now, he had a house built, and when we went to see him, we remarked on how big it was, beautiful, but how big it was. And he said, I never intended to have a house as big as this, but somehow between me and my wife and the architect and speaking Visayan and not speaking Visayan, this is how it turned out. And that's really how it turned out for us too. Now, the reason though that I'm wanting to make this particular video is because people say that Beth, are in a kind of a default situation, that they take us as seeing that some aspect of how we live can be utilized for themselves, and they benefit from that. And this is a huge compliment to us and a great encouragement that perhaps we're doing something that is worthwhile. So I wanted to walk around our house and just explain how my life, Beth does a very good job of explaining what she does. We don't live on top of each other. I hope you understand what that means. It means that I do my things and she does hers. She wants to talk about local politics, of which I know very little, and I would prefer to talk about what's happening in the world, or what's mishappening in the world. And so I have my people that I talk to, those of you who communicate to me on a regular basis, and I enjoy all of those communications and those comments and letters and hearing how other people are doing in their life. And she does the same. And so I have my regular 2 days a week, usually Tuesday and Friday, I go and have breakfast at PP Coffee, our favorite restaurant at the moment. And we go there, we have breakfast. We go at 10 o'clock. Now, it didn't used to open at 10, but because we kept arriving at 10 and they didn't want to turn us away, they welcomed us in, and now they open at 10. And so we go there, and there's usually very few people there that early. So we get time to talk in a quiet spot. And we talk about the things that interest us both that we cannot talk about with Filipinos, because they're actually quite happy with how things are going here for the most part, and they don't know, the people that I talk to don't know much. Even the Americans often don't know what's going on in the world outside, nor do they care. But anyway, I'm going to turn the camera on the other side so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so you're seeing what I'm seeing there. Well, you'll probably be looking and saying, what's with all of the fire extinguishers? That's what the fire department have told us we have to have, and we've got the big house next door. We call it the big house, it's actually the resort. Now, I don't want to get into talking about that because it will end up taking up the whole video, which actually I wanted to be in reference to how things are here. Well, when I used to try to do my own things, it would always end up that I would get Beth jacked, and she would come in and she'd have something that had to be done now, and we would end up that whatever I wanted to do would end up not being done. There she is. That's the one. And she would take over what I was doing. So, looking around at the YouTube, I see that's the reason that people like The Rock and Mark Wahlberg and other people like the ex-champion of the world, he gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And so I started that. I started getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning into the bathroom, the one that we use. We have another bathroom there, which is part of this room, which is the master bedroom. Now, there's a very good reason for why we use this room for me to be able to do what I do, because what I do is at 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is also a safe room. We keep the stuff there that if we left it outside, which it was left out in the living room, took up a lot of space, didn't look nice. I don't care that it looks that way. In fact, I quite like it. I keep my bike in here so people won't fiddle with it. And if you have a look, we have these guitars. Which I'm very good at not playing. This particular guitar, it's just balanced. It's not tied, it's not fixed. It just sits on its chair and leans, and it's safe because people don't come into here. Look at this. This is a miracle of balance here, look. It's just balanced on the stool. It's not fixed at all. And the others, now, if these were outside, they wouldn't survive. So, I come in here, and the object of the video is for those people who are starting to live slightly differently, in that they may be, they may be eating differently, they may be on a different schedule. Like, for instance, there must be many guys who would like to get back into shape, like I decided I got to get back into shape. I've always been in good shape. So once I had injuries, I broke my collarbone. That put me back months from doing the kind of workout I was used to. And then recently, last year, I had cataract surgery, and they told me that for 3 or 4 months I would not be able to lift anything heavy. It didn't last that long. I got back into working out much quicker. But the object is to make one thing clear that I've learned. And all I'm doing is passing on anecdotally what I've learned, which you may or may not find interesting or useful. But I'll tell you, and then you can look for it for yourself. Now, I decided I wanted to get into shape. And so what I did was I looked up everything on YouTube that was about getting fit, developing muscle, being healthy, eating right, all of those things. And I took from what I saw, I took as much as would be useful for me. And I found that ultimately the little schedule, the routine that I now have is perfect for me, for now. So when I get stronger, I'll change, I'll upgrade, lift heavier weights. But at the moment, I do what I can with what I've got. So it's about a phrase that a bodybuilder, a man who spends time in the gym, said. He said, you have to create habits which will serve you. Now that had a great impact on me, because I realized that I didn't have any habits which actually served me. We all have habits. We go and make a cup of coffee and then sit and watch television. In the afternoon, we might, talking about expats that live here, we might then go on and watch a video that we don't even like. I slept through a really good video the other day. Realised that it can't go on. You have to create a habit which will support you. So my habits, for those of you who are interested in what I've learned, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not rigid on this because I don't want an alarm clock going off at 4 o'clock in the morning when Beth is sleeping peacefully beside me. So I wake up, and I've usually awoken at 4 o'clock. So if it's 3:35, I'll get up. If it's 4:35, I'll get up. If it's 4 o'clock, I'll be happy. I'll get up. And the first thing that I do is I come out here, I put just a minute, somebody's outside waiting. Beth, is somebody outside, darling? He's walking around on the patio. One of the workers, I think. So I get up, 4 o'clock. I go in, I set things up in the bathroom, make sure there's plenty of water for me to bathe. I come out here, I put enough water into the kettle for a shave. Once that's done, which happens very quickly, I go back in, and there, no need to look in there, it's a bathroom. But we still bathe in the traditional way. We have what in England I would call a dustbin. America, you would call it a trash can, a big one, 50 gallons or 40 gallons. And that's filled with water, and I have a cold shower. Now that might sound a bit brutal or heroic. It's not. It really wakes you up. Nothing like a cold shower at 4 o'clock in the morning, no matter where you live. So I do that. Once I'm all fixed up and everything, I come out here into this room. All of my stuff, we just got the laundry back yesterday. Haven't put it away into my wardrobe yet. I keep all my stuff here. I can do everything, get ready and everything in this room. The bed is rarely slept in. Maybe if Nana comes over for one night, she'll sleep in the bed. And I come into the bathroom. Now that's what I would call as my bathroom, in that I come in and I do everything I need to do when Beth is in bed. So once I come out here and I've had a shower and had perhaps a glass of water, I don't have very much there. I don't feel I can exercise very well when I've had a lot of water. So whereas other people say they come out and drink 2 litres of water, I don't believe it. I come out and I have a small glass of water, and then I get right into my routine. And my routine is such that I do not have to think about what I'm going to do next. So I have a series of exercises, which eventually I'll do another video on that. I have a series of exercises that I do on that mat, and the only 2 weights that I use are this one here, which is about 5 pounds, and then the other little one is just for something to hold. It says it's 2 kilos on it. Right, so I do that. When I've finished on that, I can go and have some breakfast if I'm not fasting. Lately I've now decided, there's my darling, I've decided that I'm going to go back onto 2 meal schedule, eat at around 10 or 12 for the first time. So all I'll be doing now is having a cup of tea after I've done my workout. So the outside, when I got up later, before I started getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't come out here at 4 o'clock in the morning, of course. It's still dark. But I come out, and this is a different routine that I use. I use weights, use the bench. I use this, what would you call it, a mountain climber, a ski. It's as if you're on a ski thing. I'm going to show you what they do on that. But more important is that which we call a slider, which they'll probably have a fancy name for. But this I found very useful, quite difficult. That's on the most difficult. Obviously, as you widen the legs, it gets easier. It's at its most difficult right now. I'll show you how that works in a second, but I'm sure you've already seen it. This I picked up recently at the what we call the Korean store, and you can do push-ups. You can also do dips and leg raises and pull-ups. So all of that, I need to get stronger to do some of that. The pull-ups and the dips, only halfway, but I'm working on it. But let me show you. Yes, I think you can see that. This one of course is easy. It's more aerobic, and the higher that you put your hands, the greater the movement on the arms. So that's something that you need to look at. But this, you can warm up on this. You can do a lot. I used to do 150. I counted them as this. 1, 2. I do 150 on that. Now, this is for, they say that you get an all-round workout, and I'm sure that you do. It can be quite hard. So this one I would do 100, not all at the same time. Now you can feel it in the shoulders, mainly legs and abs. The stomach, the little fat part we all want to get rid of. So that's my little gym. It's not much. You can see here I don't have much to work with, but this is okay. What I've seen and what I've learned is, over the years, if you haven't got heavy weights in which to do intense workouts with low reps, heavy weights, low reps. If you go to the lighter weights, you do more reps. So you increase the volume of what you are working on. Now, as you can see, I've got my boots under there. This is where in the morning I change, I get dried, and I put these on, Crocs. Now, I really would recommend to anyone who is over the age of possibly, say, 65, that they should really invest in very good shoes. Now these, my friend John S. sent me these. These are excellent. They're steel cap under there, and they're very secure. You can really tighten these on, have a zip on the edge. See, so you can get them fairly tight. Once you've done the lacing, you can zip it up. Now, why would I say that? Well, I had it confirmed to me the other day when I got up, and the rubber on these Crocs caught and my foot moved in the shoe, but the shoe wouldn't let it go any further, and I took a fall. So when I say a fall, I kind of just tumbled onto the tiles with no injury at all. So, but it's a warning, and I'm a lot older than 65. So the habits that I am trying to establish, and they're much easier now, those habits are things which help my survival. Now, if you're getting past the age of 65, I don't care how fit you think you are. I don't care how you've been a footballer, American footballer, or a rugby star, or any of these things, or a runner in your youth. If you don't keep it up, your quality of life will disappear down the plug hole along with your next shower. Now, when I came to Cebu, Bohol came just a little bit after, when Beth and I came back to her family home. Now, when I left San Fernando, where I was visiting with my son when I first got out here, we used to go to the local boxing gym, and I would pay to do 8 rounds. I would do 8 rounds, not fighting, but on the pads. And if the guy is skillful, which my guy certainly was, they will make you work very, very hard. And I could do 8 rounds. Now, I have to admit, I'll confess freely that about round 5, going into round 6, I would have paid him to let me go, but I'd already paid him to make me work hard. So that's what he did. And when I came out here, I was 74 years old then. When I came out to Bohol, I built my own house. Now, all of that is because I maintained a very, very good lifestyle. I didn't eat for eating sake. I ate in order to live. I used the juicer a great deal, ate raw food a great deal. Raw food doesn't mean that you're chewing on meat bones, by the way. It means that there is so much food that you can buy which hasn't been cooked or heated or preserved. All of that stuff is not going to do you any good. So I was actually already very fit, but just a couple of things. When I built my own house, I had a fall, broke my collarbone, and that put me off doing anything after that, because people had been told, the family had been told, that I shouldn't be lifting anything heavy. And so I got spoiled and mollycoddled, and I lost muscle mass then. And then, of course, when I had my cataracts done, that was months of not doing anything more than lifting the cell phone. So, lost time there. You will lose it very fast if you don't take care of it. So, establish the habits that will serve you. My habits: getting up at 4, having a wash, doing my shave, having a cold shower. Yes, wakes me up. Up to then, I'm a zombie, only just barely awake enough to know what I've got to do next. Once I have my shower and dressed, I come in here, put the mat down, not do any thinking at all. As soon as you think, then you'll go off into some reverie. You'll be at 4 o'clock in the morning, especially, you will be handling problems, solving this issue and that issue. And the last thing you'll be thinking of doing is doing your exercises. You establish a routine that will take you through the next few weeks of not thinking. So I come in here straight away. I could come over here and start saying, oh, I got to get this tidied away, look at it, I got to get it back into the wardrobe, and then I'll go in here and I'll tidy my shoes. No, I don't do any of that. It's all there to do if you allow it. So you come in and you get on the mat and you do what you're supposed to do. And you don't look at the clock other than to see when you started, to make sure that you're doing your adequate amount. I do about 40 minutes. Now, what are the habits? Well, I come in, I make sure that things are clean. When I go to the kitchen, if I've agreed to do the washing up, then I'll make sure that if I left anything the night before, it will be down there. And then ideally, I should put the pots away. Sometimes I don't. You can see that I've left them there. But I make sure that that's all done. Now, if there's anything else, I come out here. If there's any stains on the floor, I'll get it done. Draw the curtains, all of that. These are all the habit, the morning habit, which you will need to do your own version of the morning habit, but it doesn't contain any deep thought. I don't allow myself the phone. The phone is not something that gets switched on until everything that is supposed to be done on my schedule is done. So, all of those other things which you might think are just a distraction, if you've got a lifestyle that people do things for you, don't. I used to say to Beth, there's that particular, those particular t-shirts that I really like, and I don't get them back from the laundry in time. So I do them myself. I need handkerchiefs, I do them myself. I don't sit around and ask other people to do things. There's a great saying in business, and really clever secretaries do this all the time to their bosses. If you want to take away a man's power, all you have to do is keep doing things for him. Oh, sir, let me lift that for you. Let me go to the sari store for you. Let me do this for you. Let me do that for you. Don't lift that heavy weight. I can do that for you. And soon enough, you lose your power. So I get up at 4, I do my ablutions, I come in here and I hit that mat, and I don't get up off that mat until I've done all of my exercises. Now, I do that every day. This routine I do every day. If you go on and you look at the work and the talk and the teachings of the various bodybuilders, you will soon find out that there is no hard and fast way to do anything. It's all down to what suits you. And all of the big Mr. Olympias, all of the winners of the Olympia, all say something differently. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mike Menser, Tom Platz, all of these, and they all did something different, and they had to find out for themselves what worked. So get your routine, make it a habit that you do every morning, get up early enough that you are not being disturbed by anyone else. That's the key. Getting up at 4 means that everybody else is totally out of it. Right. And do things for yourself. One of the basic things when you're in the army is that they force you to have your hair cut short. They force you to dress properly every time that you put your clothes on. If you're in fatigues, they're clean, they're sharp. If you're in dress uniform, it has to be perfect. Your bed space, which is your home, it has a bed and a big locker. That's it. It has a single bed and a locker about this size, or maybe a little smaller. And you have to keep that folded and swept and polished and perfect. And there's a lesson to be learned in that. Okay, so I'll let you go. 24 minutes, far too long. But if you're still here, thanks for being here. I hope what I say helps. Please do like, comment, tell me what you're doing with your routine. Be very, very happy to hear from you. And share. If you can share, it really helps us, because then artificial intelligence, as it works for YouTube, will see that someone is sharing and will deem that we are worth promoting, which will help us to do what we do. So, bye for now.